Thank you very much, Prime Minister. There were calls for you to drop the plans for Christmas last week, just a few days ago. But on Wednesday, you told me and our viewers it would be inhuman to change the plans. And now that's exactly what you've done. Aren't the millions of people whose plans have just been torn up entitled to feel that you just left this too late and you've caused them more personal disruption and upset by doing so? And can I ask the medics, you've shared some of the analysis of this new variant, but you mentioned that Porton-Down have been looking at this in the earlier press conference this week. Can you say if Porton-Down have completed their assessments of it? And Professor Whitty, if someone is packing a bag right now, listening to or watching this, trying to leave the Southeast by midnight tonight, what should they do?
Well, Laura, let me first of all just say to everybody who's made plans for Christmas, as I said earlier on, everybody who's thought about it, all the care and love that's gone into plans for Christmas, we, of course, bitterly regret the changes that are necessary. But alas, when the facts change, you have to change your approach. And the briefing that I had yesterday about this mutation of the virus, particularly about the speed of transmission, was not possible to ignore. And when as I say, when the virus changes its method of attack, we as a country have to change our method of defence, and that's what we're doing.
Shall I take the one that was addressed directly to me, and then Sir Patrick may want to talk about Porton-Down? I want to put some numbers out there because I think that helps to explain why I'm going to give the answer that I'm going to give. But my short answer would be, please unpack it at this stage. The reason for that is if you look at the southeast, if you look at the east of England and look at London, there's been a really dramatic increase in the proportion of the cases that we see that are, when we do on the screening tests, which are not absolutely exact but pretty accurate, would imply that in the southeast, 43% of the virus is now this new variant. In the east of England, it's 59%, and in London, 62%. The numbers may vary slightly, but those numbers are broadly right. And those have gone up very, very fast over the last few weeks. So this has really gone incredibly quickly. They are much lower in other areas of the country. And then when you look at the rates of increase in hospitalisations, there have been the numbers of people in hospital across the country. What you see is in the areas where this is very, very common, you're seeing rates of increase of maybe 36% in the east of England, 34% in London, and 28% in the southeast. These are the areas which actually have significant numbers of this new variant. But if you go to, let's say, the northwest and the northeast and Yorkshire, in these areas there has been no increase in hospitalisations. They're managing to keep things down with tier 3. And if you look at the rates of this new variant in those areas, you see they're much lower. So, for example, in Yorkshire and the Humber, around 5%. Now, again, the exact numbers don't matter. But the point is that if you have a lower amount of this variant, the rate of increase is held by the tiers. If you have a very high rate of this variant, then it is not held sufficiently by the tiers and it is going up rapidly. And our big worry is essentially this is growing in two directions. It's growing up in terms of the percentage where it is. So it's getting a higher and higher proportion of the cases. And as Sir Patrick said, the chance if someone gets infected of them having to go to hospital or dying at the end of it seem to be roughly the same, as far as we can see so far, as the previous variant. And if they were to go with this new variant, unwittingly, to an area that has a low prevalence and start this being seeded even more outside the high prevalence areas, that would be a significant risk to the area they went to. So that is the reason we are really keen that people do not go from these areas, because otherwise we'll not only see it going up in the areas it's already a problem, we'll see it going out to other areas of the country where it currently is not a problem. And that it was because we understood this information in the back end of this week that we advised you really do have to act at this stage, because this is otherwise every area of the country will get this very quickly, and then none of them will be able to hold things with tier 3 and tier 2 elsewhere.
Thanks very much, Laura. Robert Peston,
ITV. Just answer the
Porton-Down
question. Sorry, just to answer the Porton-Down question. Porton-Down are looking at this all the time. When data become available, we'll make sure we get it out as soon as we can, but we don't have any more information than we've shared today.
Thanks.